All right, welcome back. This is still Crossfire with Dapo Anishoma. We have in the studio with us this political analyst, someone everybody just enjoy.
Entrepreneur and political analyst. I eat by being enterprising.
Okay.
Political analysis, no, they give me money to shop.
Okay. It's just for because of your passion.
Yes, he is an entrepreneur and he is a political analyst. And, you know, he's very good at what he does.
Thank you very much.
He tries to bring fun into speaking the truth. And, you know, it makes it really very easy for people to digest it.
The truth is relative. My truth may be somebody else's lies. So I try to speak.
You know, that's why I challenge some of your opinions anyway. I mean, that's why I try to just challenge, just for us to create a balance on the show. Now, let's quickly look at the transition program. Now, by May the 29th, it is expected that the government of the day will be handing over to the newly elected, government when, by every standard and if everything, remain status quo, the retired general will be announced as the next president of Nigeria. Already announced, but will be sworn in, as the next president of Nigeria. There have been a lot of issues, channeling and tuning towards making this a reality. We have two committees that have been formed. That the committee working on transition from the current government into the one that is coming. And on the other side, these people are also planning to take over. So, information have it that, recently, that about, I don't want to mention figures because every time we just call this money, I just wonder where these monies come from and what they are being used for.
Don't work on figures. Don't work on figures that you see on social.
Exactly, that's why I'm not going to mention. But there's a particular amount of money.
They are preposterous, they are outrageous, they are far away from reality. Yeah, go there.
Okay. Is there anything, if the news is anything worth going by? We heard that the committee set up by President Goodluck Jonathan came up with a very huge, alarming, unbelievable expense towards, the program for the transition. And I keep wondering, do we need money at all?
Let me give you the historical background of the transition phenomenon as glamorized from the people from whence we copied it. The Americans.
It's a very elaborate, beautiful, colorful event.
The Americans gave it as a gift to the world. And the reason why they gave it as a gift to the world is because of certain peculiarities. Especially, and Nigeria, unfortunately, as we speak, has the two main peculiarities for which transition program became imperative in America. One is when there was a transition between President Buchanan in 1860-1861 to President Abraham Lincoln, America was edging into its civil war. And if transition is not well managed, the seeming indolence of President Buchanan
will be inherited, absolutely.
Yeah. And America went through 5 years of civil war. Now leave that. Let's come again to 1931 and 1932. President Hoover, one of the most ignominious, he had one of the most bad, failed administrations in the history of American presidency. President Hoover handed over to President Delano Roosevelt. And the problem that was peculiar in America then was the recession. But because that transition was not well managed, it took a while when Franklin Delano Roosevelt took over before things could be turned around. Now, we have also seen, in the not too distant past, the very fractious transition between Bush the first to Clinton, and from Clinton to Bush the second. You see, these compatriots of ours in the various transition groupings will be doing Nigeria a lot of good if they were to bury their partisan differences not so easy to do. I can say that idealistically here, but the truth is that, animosities are, because they just went through a very rabid, very, inciting electioneering campaigns. Now, but if they want to do this country a lot of good, they must make sure, because we have two unfortunate peculiarities now afflicting us. We are going through a state of war. You must remember that we still have Boko Haram.
Yes.
And our economy is crating as we speak. It's nosediving as we speak. The two groups must, for the sake of Nigeria and for the sake of handling this transition well, bury their partisan differences and engage each other better with a view to giving us a seamless transition
with Nigeria, with Nigerians as the main priority and focus.
But if you want to be leaking, and I'm saying this, you may not quite like it, but I'm also as APC as anybody thinks he or she is. And what I tell people is that if they want to be leaking confidential information, they will make the people they are dealing with to be first protective of themselves, not wanting to engage better, and they will ultimately have themselves to blame, because you know what? If I know that any sensitive information that comes out of our meetings, before you can say Jack Robinson, the following day you are reading it in the newspapers, and somebody is speculating that Balaba has shop money, that we are asking for this thing. Look, one of the most disturbing things that has happened to me in recent times, subsequent to the pronouncement of General Muhammadu Buhari as president-elect, was the fact that the conversation between President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan and General Buhari was leaked.
Okay. You will have to hold on that thought. We'll go on a short break now. When we come back, we'll be taking you through the other major package that makes up for this topic.
Your station is doing very well because all this short break, no money. Time, no money.
Anyway, we'll be right back. Just stay with us. All right, we are back. This is still Crossfire with Dakbo and Ishoma, and we have with us, this I won't forget again, in a very long time, an entrepreneur and a political analyst, Mr. Agbolaoba. And we've been talking about, how seamless the transition between the current government, the incumbent government, and the incoming government, how very seamless this is going to be, knowing fully well that there are so many groupings as we speak that is making it look, that is really making it look like this transition may not be smooth as expected, or at the same time, maybe it's going to come with a lot of, terminal issues that probably will explode immediately the new, government comes in. And then a lot of other things are pointing to the fact that the current government may want to make this transition a game changer by some of the things that are happening. The high GP has been sacked. We don't know how many other people are likely to go, knowing fully well that we have the ministries, the departments, and the agencies. Many of their heads are already going to Kaduna to pay home visit in Katsina to pay home visit and do all of that. What are all of these things, if you look at it from the high, from focusing on the transition?
I'm first a Nigerian before I am a supporter of any political party.
Correct.
And like I did emphasize in my introductory part of this topic, I said that the concept of transition became popular in America as a result of two major phenomena. Making sure that the handover is right in a state of war, and making sure that in a state of economic recession, the handover is right, with a view to letting the person taking over the baton be in a strategic position to have been well informed to combat this phenomenon.
Yes.
Now, I am also talking as somebody who wishes General Muhammadu Buhari to be successful with his promises that it is incumbent on the president-elect, and indeed the leaders around the president-elect, to go the extra mile to engage the outgoing government
and get a proper handover,
in such a way that let them feel comfortable, let them feel whatever sensitive information is divulged,
to tell them the
that
truth.
may even indict the outgoing government can be best handled, so that they will be running into their tenure at a speed with a momentum.
Knowing fully well that they have the true picture of what is on ground, what they are inheriting.
But when we do,
and they can focus on it, hoping that the information given is correct.
But when we sit down to talk about transition, every information...
Let's imagine that we don't have an holistic picture of view or insight into the activities of the military as per Boko Haram. And we have on record that major towns and cities that have been taken over or won back by the military are already being infected by the presence of Boko Haram again by the time the new government is being sworn in. I mean, that is a major breach. That is a major distractions, for the incoming government before they can do anything. Let's take this call before your response. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Dr.
Good morning, Mr. Alex.
Good to have you, Alex.
Good morning to you, sir.
Hello, sir.
You see, each time you come on the program, you always sound very, very interesting. Actually, I see you as a motivator. You are a very good motivator.
Thank you.
Because as you are there speaking, I would like to want to things from you. And again, back to the issue. I don't know, the position of the king can be that I'm going to command by 2015. In the state of the upcoming election, the election will be conducted, a winner or winner from the made. But will transition be a problem again? Transition cannot be a problem. And the present government should actually be handing over notes. And then why the incoming government should be prepared how they are going to run Nigeria? I don't see any break situation in the transition at all. It's just a two things. Either the transition will be low-key, to the greater with less unfair, or it should be an elaborate action. But in the face of the present reality, they won't even need an elaborate transition. Good measurements have said that what Buhari is taking, and they take over the rest of Nigeria. So let us see what man now leadership APC will do Nigeria. I don't see how this organization conducting our election. I don't see a transition being a problem at all. That is what I'm trying to say. My take simply this morning, we are looking forward to this change that every person is keying in now. A change on individual Nigerians, like I contributed yesterday. So the responsibility, the only rest of every one of us, at least we should make it very, very enabling for Buhari and the APC government. Have this power now. I mean, let us create a special grant for them to operate.
All right.
I think that should be the basis of the transition we should be hoping for. And again, let me quickly add, you see, I wonder the kind of traditional rulers we are having.
Very, very loaded, Alex. I mean, point
sir.
taken, Mr. Gbolauba. We just want to plead your indulgence to revisit, us on Friday.
I live in the backyard.
Let's do this again. We would have brought you in tomorrow, but we have a guest on the show already, booked for the show. But on Friday, we'd love to have you back. You know my concern, which we will close on. We will address it when we come back on Friday. President Goodluck Jonathan has been lied to. Even towards...
You don't know. You have to be very careful.
No, see, a lot of impressions. We have it written all over the place. Yes, Baba. Yes, Baba. Yes, sir.
You have to be very, very circumspect when you are using materials from the social networking platforms to form...
Are you saying that they didn't give the president the impression that he has performed excellently well? How come Nigerians...
The Nigerian sovereign has spoken.
Exactly, that is to tell you.
Now, he will go back now, retire to his presidential library, and go and review activities.
All right.
And we will love to...
Now, this is my question where we'll start on Friday. How much of, verifiable and, complete information are we expecting to get prepared by ministers and ministries for the transition? I mean, a big question. If we will not be lied to again, and the new, the incoming government will now inherit a major problem in their hands. I'm not going to allow you to say anything. I'm not going to allow you to say anything. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to say thank you for being a part of our show today. We ran into, we ran into excess of like 2 minutes.
We ran into time is not enough.
Exactly.
We ran into the war called time is not enough.
All right, thank you. Join us tomorrow morning for another very interesting episode. And Mr. Bolaoba will be back on Friday. And we will be looking at the transition and the elements, of it to make it a very successful one. So stay with us and stay out of trouble. Thank you for being a part of us. Thank you.